Hey everyone, I'm Hafiz, an English tutor from HZad Education, and for today I'm going to give you 5 crucial points of things that you should do and things that you should not do. These are very crucial in order for you to perform exceptionally in the IELTS speaking section. Now, I will note that this applies for both speaking academic and general training because they're usually going to be the same section. So let's begin. We'll start off with the do's. So these points you should definitely do. First one is speak clearly and confidently, pronounce words accurately. So this basically has to do with the way you speak, how you sound when you speak. You should not stutter. You should not go You should not have pauses where there shouldn't be, especially if you make it awkward, right? So that I've seen that a couple of times as well, where you just get lost in the middle of your answer. So that's something that will basically dent your confidence, right? So you have to make sure that that doesn't happen. And lastly, pronunciation. Of course, your pronunciation has to be spot on. Now, and if anyone is wondering, you have to know that this has nothing to do with accent, right? Because pronunciation is literally just the way you pronounce a word, like the way you say it, the syllable and the pacing and how clear the word that you're saying are. So nothing to do with accent, right? So please make sure that if you do need practice with your pronunciation, you have a thorough check of how words are pronounced in the American English or in the British language. I highly recommend the American English. A lot easier. Secondly, use a variety of grammatical structures and vocabulary range. Now, to note that this doesn't say accuracy because accuracy can be easily identified, right? And that's something that you usually will focus on first, obviously, because this is an English test. Grammar accuracy is foundation, like it's fundamental. Now, the problem is you can show perfect grammar, perfect vocabulary, as in you didn't make any mistake in any of those two, but you will not go beyond a seven, a band seven. That's because maybe you're simply sticking with active sentences or you're using basic vocabulary over and over again, vocabulary that usually doesn't show a profound meaning or a comprehensive one. Like you use words like good, bad, and a lot of very. Or maybe it's your conjunctions, your transitional phrases is non-existent, right? So the variety is usually more crucial, I would say, because again, accuracy is a given. Like you have to do that first thing anyway. So in order for you to go beyond a band seven, have to showcase your range for both grammar and vocabulary. Third, you have to make sure that you answer the questions directly and fully. When it comes to the IELTS speaking part, the questions start off basic. They're usually quite casual. It does get slightly longer as the section goes on, but remains all the same. When you're answering the question, be straightforward about it. Do not go around in circles, nor should you basically talk about things that has nothing to do with your answer and answer the question fully. So make sure that you complete your answer, right? Yes, one of the things that you should remember is speak more, not less, but you have to be sure that you have answered the question before actually being stopped by the native speaker. Okay. The fourth one is give example to support your answers and show your understanding of the topic, right? One of the things that we do here in HZad Education is teach our students a specific template where you basically give an answer and then add 2 additional example or points. This is a must do. You should not simply go, for example, do you prefer to ride a bike or a car? And you go, oh, I prefer to ride a bike. You stop there. That's not good enough. You have to add 2 additional example that strengthen your answer. You cannot give a random explanation. So something like, oh, I prefer bicycle because it's a lot more convenient. I can carry it. I can use it wherever I need to go, and I don't really need to pay fuel. So it's quite cheaper as well. Anything along that line. Lastly, stay engaged with the examiner and maintain eye contact throughout the interview. This is truly underestimated. Because one of the things that I've seen when people speak and they get nervous is they move their eyes around, right? Or try to find the clock to check, if they are speaking way too long. Do not do that, right? When you are speaking, when the native start asking you question, do not lose that eye contact. Stare at, well, I wouldn't say, just make sure that you look at the speaker. Try not to intimidate, of course. But basically, that is part of the test as well. How focused can you be, with the person in front of you while still maintaining a cohesive answer? That's the fifth dues, right? These are all really crucial points, so feel free to take note, pause them if you want to. But in order to score a band 8 or even a 9, these fives are non-negotiable. You have to be able to do them. Now let's move on to the don'ts. All right, the first don'ts is something basically that we've discussed before. Don't give one word or very short answers, right? So not only do you not only should you not give like a one straight up answer, like, do you prefer a bike or a car? You go, oh, I prefer a bicycle. Stop. But your explanation should not be too simplistic as well. For example, I prefer a bicycle because it's convenient and cheap. That's still not good. That's still not good enough. You have to make it, like, not as clear as possible or as detailed as possible, but at the very least give a brief understanding of why it is convenient and why it is cheap, right? And you only need one sentence for each. It won't take you that long, I promise. Right? So if you're still struggling with that kind of approach, that's something that you definitely need to practice on. The second one is, don't repeat the question or memorize the answer, and as this is not natural and may sound rehearsed. Yeah, this has a lot to do with your intonation. Don't repeat the question or memorize answers. So maybe in school or somewhere else you're taught to repeat the question or answer the question in full sentence, so there is a repetition of the question. You don't need to do that. So don't go, oh, do you prefer a bicycle or a car? Well, in terms of a bicycle or a car, I think I prefer a bicycle. You don't need to do that. You don't need to repeat parts or, like, worse, all of the question and then give your answer. Just straight up give your answer, right? And then the second thing is, make sure you're not memorizing things beforehand. Remember, you don't know what you're going to expect, so don't cram your memory, your brain, with things that you might not actually use. Right? Number one, that'll cause panic. Your mind immediately will go blank. The second one, even if you do have an answer you've memorized and the question indeed come up during the tests, right, you will sound more like a robot than a human being, and that's a big no-no as well. Okay, so you have to make sure that you do that. The third point, things you should not do: don't speak too quickly or too slowly. This is also crucial and will take time for you to prepare. Do not speak like this because this is way too fast, and if you speak like this, it's kind of annoying as well. And don't speak too slowly, like President level slow. It's like, I prefer a bicycle, basically. Yeah, no one likes to hear that. Again, so just enough. Basically, just pretend that you're speaking to a friend, like at the pace that I'm explaining to you right now. Make it sound very natural. Fourth point is, don't interrupt the examiner or talk over them. Right? I have not seen this case yet, but I will mention it just in case, it hasn't come to your mind. Do not interrupt the examiner when they are speaking, right? And follow their instructions very carefully. If you speak a little longer and they stop you, you have to stop. So fully respect what the examiner is asking you to do, and do not rebuke or debate. Number fifth, the last one, is, don't use slang or inappropriate language, right? Try to be as formal as possible. Well, you don't have to be too stiff. Semi-formal is good, but no slang. No, don't go like, "Hey, how are you? Oh, what's up? I'm good. How about you?" No need to do that kind of cheesy stuff. So please be professional and use really appropriate language, words, and just answer the question as if you are in a job interview, or you're basically, again, conversing with a friend, right? And that's basically the five do's and don'ts. So if you still have any issues with any of those points, right, maybe you're still doing the don'ts, or maybe you're still not doing the do's, please make that one of your priority as your preparation for the speaking section. All right, guys, hopefully that helps. That's my time. If you have any question, please feel free to leave a comment below. And don't forget, everything that I have explained to you in this session are also taught in HZad education courses. So do check out the link in the description below for more information. And I'll see you guys in the next video.